CarMax earnings just came out, and whether the CEO meant to or not, he just rang the alarm bell for what's going to happen with used car prices. Let's dig into the data. So in the earnings report that came out just this morning, one of the big highlights was the fact that revenues were down 5.5% compared to the prior year, down to $6.1 billion. Revenues being down is not too surprising. What is interesting here, however, is the fact that the selling price of their used cars has gone down significantly, 4.6% year over year. The average transaction price for a CarMax vehicle sold to a retail customer was $27,228, down from $28,530. Now, when you start to look at the fact that CarMax has $3.6 billion worth of inventory nationwide, this becomes concerning because the industry trends are for those prices to come down even more. What you're looking at on the screen here are the past 7 weeks worth of wholesale used vehicle values. The market overall is down about 10.5%, 10.39%, but certain segments of vehicles have fallen more significantly than that in the past 7 weeks. Traditionally, what happens in the wholesale market takes about 2 to 3 months to reflect itself on the retail market. And so if you're CarMax and you're holding on to $3.6 to $3.7 billion worth of inventory and you've already had to lower your prices, well, what's going to happen when full-size vans, which have fallen 23.9% in the past 7 weeks, continue to go down quickly? Well, you're going to have to lower your prices. And if you don't lower your prices, then you're going to be holding on to inventory that's losing value day in and day out. Now, at the same exact time, we have auto loan delinquency rates going up like crazy, truly historic numbers. Here's data from Cox Automotive, for example. In November, 1.92% of auto loans were severely delinquent. That was up from 1.89% in October, and it's the highest rate dating back to at least 2006. Now, when it comes to subprime auto loans, the situation is even more dire. 7.53% of subprime auto loans were severely delinquent last month. That was up from 7.38% in October. The reason this is important is because CarMax actually has an auto finance lending arm to their business as well, and they've had to significantly increase the amount of money that they're setting aside for loan loss provisions, the amount of money for loans that they originated, that they no longer expect to actually come to fruition. And let me pull up one other piece to this puzzle, which is it's not only Black Book, which is the industry data that comes out weekly, it's Cox Automotive and their monthly Manheim market report that is also showing significant depreciation. So you have strong depreciation in wholesale values, which means CarMax's prices are going to have to continue to go down from this $27,000 mark because they're losing money every single day. This $3.638 billion worth of inventory is sitting there, paired with high auto loan delinquencies, means that a lot of their customers, A, are not going to be paying back their CarMax loans. B, even if they wanted to move into a new vehicle, wouldn't be able to because their credit worthiness has taken a hit or because they simply can't afford to. They obviously can't afford to pay for their current car bill. How could they trade in or trade up into a new vehicle? On that front, we have shocking new data about negative equity. We've got from Bloomberg, reporting the average negative equity amount is $6,054. That data came from Edmunds and then was reported out in Bloomberg. That means that when someone is trading in a vehicle, this is at any dealership, not just CarMax, but obviously this impacts CarMax, they are on average $6,054 underwater, meaning they owe $6,054 on their loan more than what the dealer is willing to pay for it as a trade-in. Here's a chart from Edmunds that this is a little bit dated. This only goes to 2020, but it shows you the trend, right? Negative equity amounts used to be $3,000, $4,000. They started to go up a little bit in April of 2020, and obviously the latest data that we got from Edmunds is $6,054 on a vehicle. So for CarMax, their CEO, again, he never said this explicitly, but when you start to dig into the numbers, their prices are coming down, which is good. Their prices need to come down even more considering they make close to $3,000 in gross profit for every vehicle that they sell. P.S. That's a lot, especially when your average transaction price is under $30,000. So they're making like 11, 12% gross profit, which is high, really, really, really high. More fair would be like 5 to 7%. And that CEO, again, didn't explicitly say this. He knows that he's got $3.6 billion worth of inventory that is losing value every single day. Let's look at an example of this. So I went over to the CarEdge website, and one of my favorite things to do when I'm here is actually filter, by days on market. So let's look at some used cars that have been sitting for more than 90 days. And let's look at some of these vans because they're popping up right on the screen. If I'm a dealer, CarMax, or in this case, an independent dealer, I need to lower my prices. There is no other, that is it. There's no conversation to be had. You have to be lowering your prices, especially when you've had a van for 247 days. Let's scroll down and look at the price history here. You can see this dealer has already been aggressive in lowering their prices, but not enough. We go back earlier this year, it was a $61,000 price point for this van. I guess we were trying to get a little price drop action going on here when they listed it at 45, but they're down to 53. Again, go back to the week over week used car market data, wholesale used car market data. Full-size vans over this period of time have lost 24% of their value. Start to think about that. Used cars depreciate. We all know that. CarMax knows that. Carvana knows that. This local independent dealer, Premier Autos of Dallas, they know that just as well. Used cars depreciate. They do not depreciate 24% in 7 weeks. Full-size vans are obviously the anomaly here, but even if we were to look at full-size trucks, 7 weeks, 10.5% decline in value, there's only one thing that a car dealer can do, and that's lower prices to turn their inventory to get new inventory so that they can hopefully sell that new inventory before the market heads even further south. So look at the data, understand what's going on out there, and it paints a very clear picture. CarMax has way too many cars in inventory. They are overpriced. Their prices are finally starting to come down, but not nearly fast enough to match wholesale trends. And in about 3 to 6 months, they're going to be really feeling the heat and really feeling the pressure of a market that has entirely changed. Used car prices used to appreciate. They were going up in value for about 2 years, and now the opposite is happening in full force. If you're interested in buying a car from CarMax, my recommendation, wait another 90 days. See if the prices go down. You can track the price history back on CarEdge.com for free. Just run a VIN back here on the website. Just click on VIN, put it in there. Then you can see the price history. So there you go, folks. That's the update on the used car market with regards to CarMax and general trends that are going on. If you're out there and you're in the market, I wish you luck. It is certainly going from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And I'll leave you with this. If you are going to buy a used car anytime soon, please just Google search CarEdge car buying cheat sheet. Okay? We have all the things you need to know before you buy a new or a used car, and they're free. How to negotiate with the salesperson, how to know if you're actually getting a fair deal, glossary of terms for when you're talking to the dealers, end of a lease. There's so much information here. And we even have information specifically for CarMax. So if you just Google CarEdge CarMax, you can just see how to negotiate in CarMax and Carvana. P.S. You can't on price, but you can bring your own financing, which is super important. So please, please, please do yourself a favor. Google search some of these free resources before you buy a car, and know that our team is here and happy to help. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Happy holidays.